I thought networking was just trying to collect people's contact and then you go to tell them, hey, I met you today at the event. I hope we can talk some other time. A lot of contacts I've collected, and the only thing we do is we just look at WhatsApp status and move on with our lives. That's not a connection. That's just you collecting contact. Networking isn't about making connection. It's about you being a connection, right? Think about people you admire. Would you introduce them to others? If you want attention, you have to earn it. You're not entitled to relationships. You're invited to them based on what you bring, based on your track record of results, right? What do I even bring to the table when it comes to networking? What value am I going to bring to the table? What value can I render to this person? The CEO you called, the person you collected their number or something, they have what they're doing with their own time. So did you give them a reason to value your time? Or did you give them a reason for them to value their time so much that they say that you're somebody that is worth knowing or worth continuing a conversation with? Memorable people don't follow trends. They create the trends. And even when they follow trends, they make the trend in such a way that it's useful to anybody that is actually following them or that is listening to what they say or that is seeing them do something. We would actually be discussing 3 points, and the 3 points would be 3 lies that would actually be tearing down about networking. What networking is really not. You blamed it on bad luck, on not knowing the right people. But there is actually a truth I have for you. If your network is weak, maybe it's not them, maybe it's just you. Maybe it's just that you're not worth knowing yet. Have you ever wondered that? And until you fix that, no amount of less network is going to work. I'm sorry if that hurts, and then maybe that shouldn't be the opening statement or something like that. But it looks like me, for years, I kind of lied to myself because I thought networking was just trying to collect people's contact and then you go to tell them, hey, I met you today at the event. I hope we can talk some other time. Contacts that can be there when you need something and conversations that actually spring into action, right? So I came to realize that it's not, right? We would actually be discussing 3 points, and the 3 points would be 3 lies that would actually be tearing down about networking, what networking is really not, and what essentially do you need to be very good at networking. You will essentially see that it's not about networking, it's who you really are, and that is what makes up the whole networking for you. That's how you get to meet valuable people. The first point is this, and before you get to the first point, would you just spare me some of your seconds to eventually subscribe to the channel? Please, if you've not done so, and please can you like this so that the algorithm can tell itself that, oh, people are watching this. Let's spread it to millions and billions of people. You get. And then just share to your friends that you think they need this. So back to the whole thing. So the first point is this: nobody owes you their time. So because you met somebody at an event that you loved, or an event you paid for, or an event that you felt you should meet people who also want to share their time, doesn't mean that anybody that you collect their numbers or that you want to speak to owes you their time. The CEO you cold emailed, the person you collected their number or something, they have what they are doing with their own time. So did you give them a reason to value your time? Or did you give them a reason for them to value their time so much that they say that you're somebody that is worth knowing or worth continuing a conversation with? And at that point, if you expect them that irrespective of what they think about you, they should return your conversation with the same energy, maybe you're just not looking at the fact that you might be selfish. I mean, what did you bring to the table? It's not only a question that people in relationships should ask each other during maybe talking stages or dating stages or something like that. It's a question that we need to ask ourselves to say that, hey, come on, what do I even bring to the table when it comes to networking? Of what value am I going to bring to the table? What value can I render to this person? If you want attention, you have to earn it. You have to build something. You have to share ideas. You have to be useful in yourself first. You don't just expect to get the spotlight with a person when essentially there is no value. You want value from the other person, but you do not want them to expect value from you. Again, maybe you're just selfish. And if you can ask yourself these uncomfortable questions to say that, what do I bring to the table? What's my value? How am I even a useful person? Maybe eventually we can start getting to somewhere on the aspect of, are you worth knowing? Because it's all about value, folks. Saying it again, it's all about value, right? So the world doesn't need another aspiring anything, even though it's very important. When it comes to networking, what the world needs are those who are valuable to themselves. And also, maybe if you're aspiring to build something, if you meet a fellow aspirer, of course, it can always be where great things are built, right? You lock in with somebody else, you meet somebody else that's trying to build something. You folks build together. And it becomes both of you are bringing something equal to the table together. So let's do this, right? I want you to ask yourself, right? What's one skill or what's one thing that will make me valuable very, very much? And it's something that I can offer when eventually I'm trying to network with people, right? The second point is this: relationships are earned. You don't just want to stumble to a relationship and then you expect that you are just going to be the center of the whole relationship. And when I'm referring to relationships, I'm referring to every other relationships apart from maybe romantic relationships, of course, business relationships, work, and all of those kinds of things. Again, I need to mention this to say that networking isn't about making connections. It's about you being a connection, right? Think about people you admire. Would you introduce them to others? If you would introduce them to others, then ask yourself, what do I have that people could use to introduce to others? Let's say, okay, this guy is like a very good software developer. This guy is a very good marketer. This guy is this, is a very good that. What can we say concerning you when we want to introduce you to other people? Let's say we even want to bring you into the room, right? If someone wants to bring you into the room, a mentor, a role model wants to bring you into the room, what are they going to say about you? So real networks are actually grown through trust. It's not transactions, right? People trust that you can do this very well, right? And then they can bring you in. People remember how you make them feel, right? And the quality of your work makes people feel something. When eventually you complete work for people, it makes them feel something. If it makes them feel genuinely happy, then you become a connection. If you make them genuinely sad, you know what that's going to actually bring. So again, you're not entitled to relationships. You're invited to them based on what you bring, based on your track record of results, right? I want you to start thinking like that. I don't just want you to wake up and then feel you're going to this place today and then you want to go and make a lot of contacts I've collected, and the only thing we do is we just look at WhatsApp status and move on with our lives. That's not a connection. That's just you collecting contact. The third point is this: your personal brand is not a logo. It's actually a reputation. When people hear your name, what do they feel? What do they say? When people hear your brand, what goes on in their mind? It is what goes on in their mind that makes you know if they would refer you or they will bring you into a room or you're capable of becoming a connection, a valuable connection or not, right? The point is you don't need more followers, right? You need clarity, right? Nobody remembers who regurgitates quotes. People remember who made them challenge themselves, right? So if you make people challenge themselves by the kind of work you do, by the things you say, by how you carry yourself, by how you comport yourself in private, in public, the convictions you live by, the ideals you live by, people remember you much more like that rather than quoting what JF Kennedy said in 19 whatever, right? So your brand is not even meant to be aesthetic or something like that. It's what people say about you when you are not there. That's what your brand really is. When people give you feedbacks about what they truly feel about you, that's what your brand is. The kinds of problems you solve, the insights you share, the standards you set. Memorable people don't follow trends. They create the trends. And even when they follow trends, they make the trend in such a way that it's useful to anybody that is actually following them or that is listening to what they say or that is seeing them do something. They eventually carve something out of the trend for people to make use of that can actually improve their lives, really. So I want you to stop polishing your profile, that LinkedIn profile, right? That Twitter bio. What I want you to do is I want you to start gathering value, right? And then your value will take you into a room. And then it's actually journal time. And I want you to journal this, right? I want you to write down these 3 questions and I want you to answer them honestly. You can tell me one of the answers in the comment section, right? What skill have you been avoiding that will make you undeniably valuable? I want you to write it down. You can have more than one. Then you start narrowing down according to the scale of preference, right? What you prefer the most. Then the second question is, what could I help this week without expecting anything in return? Again, what can I do for someone this week, for someone I admire this week, without expecting anything in return, just to show them that, okay, this is the value I bring to the table, not the other way around, right? Then, what uncomfortable truth am I not sharing because I'm scared of judgment? I mean, it's in your original self that people know that, hey, come on, this guy has this, this lady has this. We can reach out to them, and then you become a valuable person. So, I want you to pick one and answer them and work on it in the next 24 hours. Really. You see, again, in the end, the problem is not that people do not want to know you. It's always a question that if you're truthful to yourself about, it will turn your networking around. Are you worth knowing?